Have you ever felt that nagging sense that you're capable of so much more, but you're just not quite sure how to tap into it? Or maybe you just need a jolt of like fresh energy and some truly practical wisdom to jumpstart your personal growth journey. Today, we're taking a deep dive into Jen Sincero's wildly popular book, You Are a Badass: How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life. We've scoured, well, a mountain of reviews and summaries, really extracting the absolute best nuggets of Sincero's unique approach to bring directly to you. Our mission for this deep dive is to unpack the core wisdom of this unconventional self-help guide, distilling its actionable advice and surprising insights, so you can truly understand how to embrace your inner strength and, well, live that awesome life. So let's just get right into it. You Are a Badass isn't your grandma's self-help book, is it?
Huh, no, definitely not.
It's often called a palate cleanser, you know, a far cry from a typical self-help snooze fest. What makes Jen Sincero's style so refreshingly different? I mean, our sources describe it like attending a stand-up comedy routine.
It's absolutely true. Her tone is so blunt, in your face, and genuinely funny.
Yeah.
The occasional curse word really sets her apart. This conversational, enthusiastic, almost like a hilarious buddy vibe is truly key. It's what makes potentially dense or, abstract concepts like source energy feel less intimidating and much more approachable.
Right. Less woo-woo.
Exactly. And she uses self-deprecating humor masterfully too, which helps readers connect with her on their own journey. It kind of bridges that gap between author and reader. It's why people, just like our sources mention, return to this book year after year, finding joy and good tips every single time.
And she has follow-ups too, right?
Yeah, like you are a badass at making money and you are a badass every day, showing this isn't just a one-off thing for her.
You know, it's easy to say just be a badass, but Sincero dives much deeper into why we aren't already. What are some of those like insidious internal blocks she says we absolutely have to confront before we can even begin to transform? Can you give us a sense of what those look like in our everyday lives?
Yeah, that's such an important question. What truly prevents us from living our best lives? Sincero highlights several key obstacles, and they're primarily rooted right in our minds. First up are what she calls our limiting beliefs, those subjective ideas, often acquired way back in childhood, that become a kind of blueprint for our life and really determine how we perceive and respond to people and events.
Okay, like an example.
Sure, think about it. If you were maybe told nobody in our family is good at making money, your subconscious might just internalize that as an unshakable truth. But here's the key insight. Sincero really hammers home. We're free to change our beliefs.
That's powerful.
It is. And she points out, it takes the same amount of energy and focus to believe you're great as it does to believe you're terrible. Yet somehow, we often lean towards the latter. Then there's the ego, which Sincero brilliantly dubs the big snooze.
The big snooze, I like that.
Yeah. So Sincero says, think of it this way. Your ego is basically your inner saboteur, right? That nagging voice built on old fears and constantly seeking outside approval. It's the big snooze because it keeps you stuck in your comfort zone, living a life that's anything but awesome.
So it holds you back.
Exactly. But the crucial insight here is recognizing that you also have a true self or higher self, this powerful inner core connected to something bigger that's already got limitless potential. This true self, it finds validation from within, it sees possibilities, it isn't driven by fear. The trick is to quiet that snooze button and, learn to listen to your authentic self.
Okay, so we understand what might be holding us back, those internal roadblocks, the big snooze.
Right.
But Sincero isn't just about identifying problems. She offers a truly foundational principle for changing things. And this is where she brings in something a lot of people recognize, but maybe she frames it in her own unique way, the law of attraction. How does she make that practical? Is she just saying, think good thoughts and everything will happen, or is there more nuance, something less woo-woo for the skeptics out there?
That's a great question, and she absolutely brings a practical lens to it.
Yeah.
Sincero's take is basically that everything in this universe is made of energy,
Yeah.
okay?
Energy?
Yeah, and molecules vibrate at specific frequencies and attract other molecules vibrating at the same frequency. It's less about magic, maybe, and more about aligning your internal state with your external desires.
Oh, okay.
When you focus on problems, complaints, or anger, you vibrate at a low frequency. And guess what?
Yep, more of it.
You attract more of that negativity. But when you calm your mind, focus on what you want, and take joyful action with confidence and gratitude, you vibrate at a higher frequency, and you start attracting what you desire. She actually encourages you to think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, and literally adjust your frequency, like how you tune into a radio station.
Like tuning a dial.
Exactly. The
Uh-huh.
idea is that often what we want already exists, but we just can't see it, maybe like electricity before its discovery.
Interesting analogy.
Yeah, so by becoming fully present and connected to the source. And for Sincero, this source energy is essentially this universal wisdom or power she says we can all tap into. You can discover new paths to the life you want. It's about consciously shifting your internal dial.
All right, so we understand what might be holding us back and this idea of tuning into a higher frequency. But for listeners out there, the big question is probably, how do I actually do this?
Right. The practical steps.
Yeah, where does Sincero suggest we begin to apply these insights to really unleash that potential? What's that foundational first step she talks about?
Well, she's very clear that knowledge is most valuable when it's understood and applied. And she starts with what she calls the holy grail of happiness, self-love and identity work.
Self-love, the holy grail.
Yes, every single chapter, apparently without fail, concludes with a powerful reminder to love yourself. It's central. It's a non-negotiable element of personal growth for her. It's all about redefining who you are and how you think of yourself through things like affirmations and positive self-talk. Another truly liberating principle she champions is ignoring external opinions.
Oh, that's a tough one for a lot of people.
It is. But Sincero offers this really blunt but freeing perspective. Never waste time caring about what anybody else thinks of you.
Wow, just flat out.
Flat out. She goes on to say, what other people think about you has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. Your self-worth should never depend on others' approval.
That takes practice, I bet.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And when it comes to living a happy, fulfilling life, she says a clear purpose is essential. Her tips for finding your calling are wonderfully unconventional, like imagining yourself as an alien visiting Earth for the first time. What would you really devote your life to?
Huh. Different way to think about it.
Or simply to take a first step and keep moving in the direction that feels right to you, letting your calling sort of reveal itself as you grow. And finally, she highlights the undeniable power of giving and gratitude.
Okay.
Giving, she says, is one of life's greatest joys, with the simple truth that the more you give, the more you receive.
The classic principle.
It is. And gratitude, meanwhile, she calls it the gateway drug to awesomeness.
Gateway drug.
Yeah, because it dissolves fear and attracts abundance. She suggests practical exercises like asking, this is good because, when anything happens, no matter how small, or simply writing down maybe 10 things you're grateful for every single day.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of the mindset work, the internal shifts, self-love, purpose, gratitude. But Jen Sincero is also known for being incredibly direct, right? For saying, enough talking, let's actually do something.
Exactly. She doesn't mess around.
So when it comes to self-sabotage, to our own BS, as she might put it, what's her no-nonsense advice for actually getting out of our own way?
She absolutely pulls no punches. She's very clear. If you're serious about changing your life, you'll find a way. If you're not, you'll find an excuse.
Ooh, direct.
Yep. Her first point of attack is changing your stories and your reality. Sincero insists that your reality is what you choose to focus on.
Okay.
We all create these stories about ourselves and the world that can subtly, or sometimes not so subtly, limit us. The key is to become aware of these narratives. Understand what you might gain from them, even if it's just the comfort of familiarity.
Right, the known evil.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then basically get rid of your stories, replacing them with new, more positive truths through affirmations. It's like a complete internal rewrite.
Yeah.
For conquering procrastination, her advice is simple but profound. Done is better than perfect.
Ah, yes. The perfectionism trap.
Totally. I mean, how many times have we paralyzed ourselves trying to make something flawless? And when it comes to overwhelm, she tackles common complaints head on. If you think there's not enough time, she counters that you can always find time if you want.
Tough love.
Definitely. She recommends respecting time, identifying time wasters like, endless social media scrolling.
Guilty.
And chunking down a big project into bite-sized tasks. If you feel too much to do, her suggestion is focus on things that must be done now and learn to delegate or reschedule. And fear, she confronts it directly. She notes that fear lives in the future and is usually a choice.
A choice.
Interesting. Yeah, she encourages you to be in the moment and recognize that often the thought of it happening is usually worse than the reality itself. It's about facing the phantom, not letting it paralyze you.
That's powerful stuff. And speaking of things that hold us back or maybe things we react to, Sincero brings up this really intriguing concept called millions of mirrors.
Ah,
It's
yes.
an interesting way of looking at our interactions with others, isn't it? What's she getting at there, and how can that insight help us?
This is a truly insightful concept, I think, and one many of us can probably relate to. Sincero explains that people are like mirrors for us.
Hmm.
Yeah. So if someone truly bugs you, it's often because they remind us of something that we don't like about ourselves, or perhaps they trigger a fear or insecurity that we have.
Ooh, okay, so it's not always about them.
Exactly. It's often not just about them. So this raises an important question for you, the listener, to consider. When you feel annoyed by someone, what might that reflection actually reveal about you?
Hmm, that's that requires some honest self-reflection.
It does. It's challenging,
Yeah.
but ultimately it can be a really liberating way to view interpersonal dynamics and learn about yourself.
Wow. Okay, this deep dive has covered a lot. We've gone from recognizing limiting mindsets, the big snooze, to embracing things like the law of attraction, self-love, and now tackling practical self-sabotage, and even how we see others. But what's the ultimate call to action? The final push to truly, as she puts it, kick some ass and build the life you want. What's the core message?
Well, the overarching message, which really resonates throughout the entire book, is this powerful affirmation. You are powerful, you are loved, you are surrounded by miracles.
That's a great core message.
It is. And Sincero really emphasizes the critical difference between merely wanting something and truly deciding to get it.
Wanting versus deciding.
Yes. A no-nonsense decision, she says, means you signed up fully and keep moving towards your goal regardless of what's flung in your path. This isn't about wishful thinking. It requires tenacity, persistence,
Grit.
grit, exactly, and the ability to make decisions quickly and change them slowly. She states, quite frankly, that deciding is freedom. Indecision is torture.
That rings true.
And she reinforces that direct message we heard earlier. If you are serious about changing your life, you'll find a way. If you're not, you'll find an excuse. Comes back to that commitment.
She also tackles our relationship with money, which, let's face it, can be such a loaded topic for so many people. What's her take on that?
Right. It's often a big one. She absolutely challenges conventional, often limiting beliefs about money.
Hmm.
She encourages you to expand your beliefs about what is available to you and literally to treat money your new best friend.
Your new best friend. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's about being clear on what you want, feeling an urgency to achieve it, and really seeing money as a tool, an energy, not some kind of barrier or evil thing.
Shifting the perspective on it.
Totally. And then there's this idea of surrender, which, as you said, sounds almost contradictory to all the action she preaches.
Yeah, how does that fit in?
Well, you're right, surrender might sound passive, but for Sincero, it's not about giving up at all. It's more about believing that everything you desire already exists, which puts you in what she calls a natural state of surrender. It's about releasing that desperate resistance, trusting the process, understanding that you're kind of co-creating with the universe or source energy.
So it's trust, not inaction.
It's exactly trust and alignment. Ultimately, though, she always brings it back to turning positive behaviors into habits, and crucially, getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's where growth happens. She uses examples of legends like Michael Jordan and Steven Spielberg to illustrate that even they faced massive failure, setbacks, but they kept moving the wheel forward. It's that consistent, imperfect action that truly transforms things.
We've taken quite a deep dive today into You Are a Badass, haven't we? It's a book that really cleverly blends humor, core self-help principles, and, yeah, some surprisingly spiritual concepts to empower you to transform your life.
It's a unique mix.
It really is. It's all about recognizing your inherent greatness, shedding those limiting beliefs, kicking the big snooze to the curb, and actively, consciously creating the reality you truly desire. So Jen Sincero leaves us with a truly powerful thought, one to really sit with. Life is an illusion created by your perception, and it can be changed the moment you choose to change it.
That's a big one.
It is. So here's something to ponder. If your current reality is simply a perception you've created, what single perception could you choose to shift today, right now, that would instantly start to create a new, more awesome reality for you? Something to think about. We definitely encourage you to explore the original material, dig into Sincero's work yourself, and maybe start implementing some of these ideas in your own life.